Hey there, and welcome everyone back to the TerrorVision Home Video Podcast, live for the first time in 6 goddamn months.
Wait, 6 months? Oh, shit.
6 months. It's been a long time.
Oh, wow.
How we doing, everybody?
It's my fault, to be honest.
It's Ryan's fault, to be honest.
No, it's definitely my fault. But thank you, Ryan, for being persistent.
I will continue to be. But, I mean, we got a lot to talk about tonight. Lots of good, lots of not so good. Lots of launches have happened in the last 6 months. Lots of warehouse movements, hurricanes, opened a museum in that time. Yeah, lots to discuss. How's everybody doing in the chat? You send in your comments the entire night, of course. What are we doing tonight over there, Ryan?
Pricing in the record shop in what city am I? What city am I? In Savannah for fucking record store day. Everyone, aren't you excited to buy the Veronica's record and the 15th reissue of this Coheed record? Is that a Coheed record? What is this? Excuse me, Circus Survive. I always get them confused. I don't know why. They don't sound anything alike.
They tour together though.
Do they? Well, there you go.
Multiple times, yeah.
Got that Amigo, the Devil. That looks pretty good. But yeah,
it's a good live show too.
Got 2,000 used LPs going out and a bunch of bad records from artists that no one's going to show up for. So not Amigo. Amigo is great. That was a bad example. Bad timing.
Bad timing.
Speaking of that, Brad's high tonight. So hi, Brad.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for introducing me. I have a new look that I did to piss off my wife. So just doing that. Kind of Tom Selleck or Selleck. Selleck, yeah. Brad.
Do you put the lick in Tom Selleck?
No, Brad sells lick. That's my
Hey, can we congratulate Brad on his wedding?
Yeah. Congratulations. How'd everything go?
Went really smoothly. Beautiful day.
She still said yes? Okay, good.
Yeah. I mean, she's been only together for 16 years, so.
I gotta say, though, you know how Facebook pushes certain comments and shit to you? I saw the cutest comment. I don't know if it was today or yesterday. Brad responded on a post that his wife made, and he said, "Thank you for marrying me." And I was like, oh, God. What a fucking sweetheart.
Yeah, well.
Just to be clear, did you get married with a mustache, or did you, once you knew it was settled, you were like,
stop? Oh, no. It's just that every once in a while I just shave my face just to give it, like, just breathe. Yep. And every time I do that, I leave my mustache for a couple days just to mess with Janice. But Thanksgiving's tomorrow, so I want to wear it for Thanksgiving, and then
Thanksgiving's tomorrow. God, what a worthless day.
Yes,
that sounded mean. Where are you, Chloe?
I'm at the museum downtown, the Great Face Museum.
What city?
Savannah. We're in the same city.
Yet we're still not together. That's the fascinating thing. What are you doing?
I am painting a new exhibit wall. We have 2 new exhibits that we're launching on Friday the 13th, which is in a couple weeks in December.
I think people would figure that out.
Well, some people I mentioned too. They're like, when is December, or when is Friday the 13th? Like, oh yeah, I guess.
And then we have a new face, unless you've already got this all scripted, Ryan.
I don't know. Go right ahead.
Sean is here. Like I've begged Earl to do these now for how long have we been doing these? Has it just been a year? I don't know. But Earl, who does graphic design, has just zero in being a face, a public face. So that's sad because he keeps rejecting me. But we recently brought on Sean. Sean, say hi.
Hello.
What are you doing for TerrorVision now?
Is my proper title project coordinator for the vinyl division, I guess.
That sounds much more professional than I feel we
Wow, operate. I need to change mine. Just like I do Blu-rays. That's what I say.
Yeah, like you have to sound somewhat official. I can't just say I'm one of Ryan's flunkies. So
I don't know. Sounds like a cool Christmas shirt that I'm gonna screen print and hand to you.
I'd rather just have a TerraVision hoodie, but yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Sean was brought into. I just don't have time for anything. It's the simplicity of it, and he's great at what he does, and he's a good communicator, and he knows a lot of people, and he wants to know people, whereas I want to crawl in a hole and fucking die.
No, don't get
Yes.
grim or anything.
Sorry. But anyways, we're trying to sort of expand the. I know this is contrary to a post that I made, like I don't know, last April or something, where I mentioned Monster Squad was going to be the death of the vinyl division of TerraVision. We're actually expanding the vinyl division of TerraVision, so that's why Sean is here, and he has been great. He's only been on board for, I don't know, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 months, a day.
2 months.
And we got one thing locked down that will be announced at some point in life, and then he's working on like 70 other things that will probably be locked down very soon. So the vinyl division is going to get bigger and more interesting than just my sort of culty hole that I've dug and created for years. So we'll explain that at a later date.
Weird
in other words,
shit you
lots
watch.
to come.
Anything to add to that, Sean?
No, it's been fun so far. Like I can't really talk about any of it, but like it's been really cool. There's a lot of stuff that we've got going that I don't think anyone would expect you to be releasing. So under this label, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Hint: Sean's dealing with real people. I don't know what that means.
Studio, more studio, like more. It's not the fucking Copperhead soundtrack.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah. Yeah, like we're working with some major studios trying to get some bigger titles and things like that. So
yeah, it should be a hoot and a holler, and might, financially devastate the company, but I'm finally excited for that. So instead of pushing away from bankruptcy, I'm
embracing it.
Welcoming it.
Yeah. That's all. I'll be quiet for the rest of the hour.
No, you won't. Tell us about the museum that opened in the last few months, because that was a huge thing for you.
Damn it. I thought I could front load my speech. Yeah, so Chloe and I built a TerraVision museum next door to the flagship record store that I'm currently sitting in. Has been a revolving Greyface space since 12 years ago. Every year and a half, I change the concept on what it is. It's been an arcade, a goth store, our warehouse, something called the basement, which was a weird concept.
That's a weird concept.
And that one
It's not a
failed
basement.
hard.
Yeah.
The annex actually was pretty cool. We called it the Greyface Annex, and that's the success of that is why we opened the Greyface Museum downtown, actually. So it's kind of like when Taco Bell tests out some like feces taco that people freak out about, it's the same sort of thing. I'm being very gross tonight.
Feces taco, man.
So Chloe, help speak.
Well, I don't know how to follow feces taco. Yeah, no, the museum, it's not it's largely speaking a horror museum, but not one specific, lens of horror. Like we touch on, of course, classic monsters, and then we get into like early spiritualism movement. So Ouija boards, Halloween, kind of the folklore behind it. We have lots of fun 80s nostalgia in there. And then we did a huge partnership actually with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So we recreated the house actually and some of the major scenes in it. It's fun. It's actually a very fun museum. And we packed in a lot of like interesting information. Just I really appreciate behind the scenes of stuff, and even like you know, a big movie like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has so much like really, really neat behind the scenes history that, you know, even a lot of fans coming in, they're like, holy shit, I didn't know that. And yeah, it's just fun to kind of explore the unexplored stuff.
Also, in their 50 years of TCM, they've never done a partnership like that. So
True.
It's been a really cool experience to work with those guys. And
Yeah.
also, I'm shocked that no one has ever pitched them on such a thing before. They've obviously sent a bunch of original artifacts. I already own some of those artifacts. They're sending more artifacts as time goes, so we can kind of switch stuff out probably every quarter or so. It's just been very cool. It's very different if you've been to either of the Gray Face museums, which are morose, and you know, dealing with pedophiles and awful shit. It's just awful. I don't recommend it. This is fun and light and airy, and we give out free monster cereal every Saturday morning, so it's fucking cute. But
that's true.
Yeah. So that's what we did.
Other than the museum in the last 6 months, we have launched 3 video titles, and that seems like a small number, but there's been a whole lot of adversities. We're going to get to some of those, but first, let's recap some of these titles.
Recap it.
I got feces taco in the brain. I don't know.
I'm so sorry,
Brian.
Brad, tell us about Frogman and all the work that went into that.
Yeah, Frogman was kind of just happened really kind of overnight. I saw that it played at a found footage festival, and I saw like some imagery of it, and I noticed that my buddy Peter Koplowski produced it. So I reached out to Peter, and I just asked him, I said, you know, do you have distro for this? He said, we have streaming, but nothing for home video. Let me shoot you over to Rotting Press, you know, to see what's going on. So I, you know, asked them, like, is there home video for this? They said, no, it's open. We've only done VHS so far, but we'd be open to, you know, Blu-ray and everything. So I, you know, wanted to, I said, can I see the film? So I, you know it, because it looked fun, but as a rule, we don't sign anything we haven't seen. So my mother was going into for her knee surgery that day, and I was like at her place for hours. So I got the link and I watched it like immediately, and I loved it. I text Ryan like right away, like, watch this. This seems, you know, right up our alley. And I think within like probably 48 hours we had it signed after that. So it was a really quick turnaround, and you know, they were obviously had a lot of success on streaming and their festival run. So we wanted to really push to get it out. And we actually spoke to Walmart pretty shortly. I think even before the contract was signed, I wanted to know if I could get it in there. And, you know, it seemed like something they were interested in. So we had that in the back as well. And yeah, it just all came together. Anthony was great. He shot a lot of the interviews. He arranged the commentary, shooting the interviews during the commentary. You know, obviously he's got some great short films. I was first turned on to Anthony when I was working at a film festival, and I was on the Midnight Shorts program, and there was a short that came by called The Ballad of Squirt Reynolds, and that short made me laugh so fucking hard. And we played it, and it won that actually short film program, just because it's so gross out and weird and fucking funny. So I just didn't know that Anthony made a feature yet until I saw the name and put 2 and 2 together. But he supplied, it's like 3 or 4 of his shorts on there. We did a booklet. We wanted to expand it a little bit, because Ryan and I had a conversation that contemporary films, you know, not to sound grim, like you know, shit tacos and stuff, but the contemporary movies were kind of tanking us a tiny bit. You know, it was something that we were passionate about with contemporary films put on home video, but it's really tough because, you know, your main audience wants to see older films and
Right.
the restorations and stuff. And when you have a film that's streaming everywhere, it's just watch it streaming. Why pay, you know, $30-$40 for a movie? So even though it was a contemporary film and found footage, which people tend not to like, and being on streaming, we decided to kind of put all the bells and whistles on it and make it like this 2 disc with this soundtrack, which Anthony already had some songs, and we did we Ryan and I went swamp hunting for months on end across the United States getting frog sounds for that CD. Yeah, we had some people write about found footage, about cryptids, um, and yeah, put that booklet together. Anthony provided, I mean, there's so many extras on that disc. Um, Even their like screenings at for a couple of their festivals, they actually shot on the same camcorder they shot Frogman on. So that was pretty funny, and it's got a really cool aesthetic. But yeah, put it out, and it did really, really well. Honestly, kind of blew us away how well it did. I think it sold out in 9 days or something. And then we had the Frogman in Walmart, which is a whole different demographic.
Well, I've seen a bunch of questions about that. People are wanting to know if we are doing more Walmart projects in the future. Anything we can say on that?
It just it's too tough to say because it happens very quickly, and I don't know. Like we pitch things to them, but they turn down most. But I think there's a part. This isn't a knock. I think a lot of people that are doing the work don't know the movies or like the fans of this stuff. They look at something and they like watch a trailer and see, oh, is this sellable? They don't know the industry or the people that are, because like the people that are shopping at Walmart, we can see who's doing it with kind of the success of Malum and Frogman. It's a very normal horror crowd that's going in there and buying movies because no one's selling movies anymore.
Right.
Unless it's online. So Walmart is everywhere, and it's I think Frogman was in over 2,000 stores. So yeah, that was a huge thing, and it did well. But more importantly, it gets more eyes on the movie that would have never seen it. So now with Anthony wanting to do Frogman 2, he has kind of a smaller, it's not huge, it's not a Terrifier crew or crowd, but he does have now a bigger audience than he ever did because an extra few thousand people saw his movie, which 1,000 people, 2,000 people watching your movie is a big deal, especially nowadays with all the content that's out there. So it was nice to see that addition kind of really thrive. And we were coming off of Return of the Living Dead 2 success with the vinyl, which, Ryan already made a joke about us complaining about how it was dead, and that really, really took off. But when we did that with the tracks and Hotline, and then we did the Frogman, where you do an email for your favorite cryptid or your cryptid in your town, the Return of the Living Dead 2 project and Frogman kind of revitalized kind of what we were doing. It felt fun again, because that's the reason why we really haven't done too many live streams, and also kind of did some like reassessment, is like we wanted to have fun putting the stuff out, and we kind of lost track of that, I think. And yeah, we just took some time and had fun with the releases and kind of made fun of ourselves in a weird way. I know that it probably doesn't translate well, but we just took ourselves less seriously, I felt. And I think it opened that door to the community more. I don't know. It just felt fun again, which was cool.
Right. You brought up Return of the Living Dead 2, which we never got a chance to talk about because we did not stream for that. And one thing that we got to point out is the marketing for TerrorVision stuff this year has been stupendous, thanks to one and only Mr. John Daly here, who is incredible at trailers and putting stuff together. And yeah, how's it been changing the way that you craft some of these pieces that go out in front of the world this year, John?
Well, first, Chris did a lot of them, a lot of the really good ones.
Well, it's not good or bad. It's Chris does like the hotline-y stuff, and
Yeah.
John does
Yeah.
an amazing
Yeah,
job.
he
doing
does the punchy stuff. Yeah.
Chris being Chris LaMartina.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, his
So,
stuff is
but yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that was the Triaxon hotline. And then John, but to credit John, he did, or Rock, I don't know why I call him John.
It says John on the screen.
Huh?
It says John on the screen.
Yeah, but it's incorrect.
Oh, I see.
I kind of came up with the idea of the Loveland kind of promo of the city
Mhm.
coming up with static, and so it's me telling like John, like, hey, use this images. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow.
Use these images for the video, and then let's come in with some static with like some VHS interference and like show a clip of Frogman, but let's not say the title. So it's me vomiting that stuff out and John understanding it and then doing it and sending me what I said. It's hard sometimes to articulate things.
I'm sure I'll be able to give myself some credit at some point, but it's Brad telling me that, and then me looking at my what would Chris LaMartina do bracelet. Definitely for that one, especially too.
I mean, to be
But
fair,
it was good.
To be fair, LaMartina
Thank you.
literally works for McCormick doing ad campaigns for a living, and he's great at it. So, like, if you're going to study anyone, he would be the one to study.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get you some credit there, John.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, we did, and then Chris did the Frogman promo of the cryptid. But yeah, John captures the good thing about John cutting trailers is, sometimes we have existing ones that are good, and that's the conversation we have. Is the existing trailer good? Most of the time they're not. And I don't think we give you anything to go off of. We just say cut a new trailer because this sucks. And John understands the movie, and I think the brand of TerraVision to pull out all the funny kind of just not taking it too seriously, unless it is like a serious movie, like something like Dawning or maybe Family Dinner, which the trailers are intense. The other stuff, like if it's goofy, he's got a good knack for pulling out the goofiness of it.
You realize saying the word goofy is going to set off a lot of people.
I know, that's going to get me in so much fucking trouble. Ryan, everybody thinks we're doing a Goofy movie at some point because I made a comment about Goofy. Yeah, here we go. Goofy already. People saying.
I will not be putting money into a Goofy movie. So,
what I mean,
it's your icon now in the Discord too, right?
Yeah, we need to have a conversation about that off to the side. But sure, yeah,
we can have it right now. It will be the same.
There's no way you hate a Goofy movie. There's no way you hate a Goofy movie.
I don't like Goofy. Goofy's an asshole.
Wow. Well, this is where Sublabel or another brand, another label's going to start up just to release a Goofy movie.
All that to lead back into Frogman was the first deluxe edition for the home video side that TerraVision did. Hard box booklet and all that. We got lots of questions from people wondering if that's all that's being done moving forward. Obviously, after today, we know that's not the case. However, people want to know, how are you deciding which ones to put in this deluxe hard box?
It's just when it feels right. We don't want to like stretch something that can't be stretched just to make it. I see that a lot of times with booklets for companies now where it's 60% pictures from the like stills from the movie just blasted on a paper. We didn't want to do that. If we have enough people to contribute to essays and enough material, it's just that when we have a lot of material, how when you have something like slashers or nail gun, those probably could have been expanded too.
Yeah.
So it's just like when we have a lot of material and we're able to do something cool, we'll do it. Obviously with Devils, there's nothing to do. Yellow. I mean, we got some cool extras on that disc, but what are you going to do? Write about new Korean action movies on a movie that didn't really turn heads? We're not releasing, I Saw the Devil or something. Now if you're doing it for like, Arrow's doing The Good and the Bad and the Weird, that'd be perfect to do it for. But we're not going to do that with Devils. So yeah, it's just when it feels right and there's enough material and we want to just have more fun with the release. It allows us to do more things.
Well,
put
also
a soundtrack in, booklet.
Also has to have a second disc, capability, be it a soundtrack or UHD. So that's part of the whole initial discussion. If we don't have that, then we're not going to discuss it.
Yeah, it's like, if there's we can include a soundtrack and a UHD Blu-ray soundtrack. Like if it's going to be something that big, and we can have, and it's more well known, or it's something maybe that's not real well known that we have some cool stuff with, like like Radioactive Reporter. Craig had all these, like, he collected everything from clippings from reviews to reissues to like Fangoria, like his local paper, any press. He just kept he had gigabytes of just stuff, and it's like, okay, do we put this like in a slideshow like no one's going to watch on the disc, or can we actually utilize it for a booklet or whatever? And that's kind of where we're getting the ideas of taking those releases and making a more deluxe edition. And we wish we could have done it on previous titles at this point. It's just that we just really weren't thinking about it at the time. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do those, though.
Well, to be fully transparent, I always assumed that those boxes were like, I don't know, $20 a unit just for the box or something. So that's kind of what led us down this path. Is I got some quotes, and I mean, they're expensive, but they're not fuck you expensive. So it seemed like something we could get into,
Yeah. And like I said, it's fun. So yeah, you'll definitely see a lot more of them, but yeah, it's not going to be every title. I mean, that would just be silly.
Well, then after that was WNUF 2. Speaking of Chris LaMartina, that was the next one that got announced. Been waiting on that one to get released for a while. Any fun stories? Anything you want to share?
I mean, Ryan could probably talk about that a little bit more because he deals with him and Chris are a lot closer than I'm close with Chris. So
we're lovers. That's true. I don't know if there's any fun stories. Trying to think of.
I mean, we knew we were doing it for a long time. It was just when was the timing right,
Yeah, pretty much my life has been hell for like the last few months. So any joy that I would have gleaned from doing that release, unfortunately, it won't be until I reflect on it, next year, thinking back of how, I mean, seriously, it sounds awful, but that's true. It's been a very rough back half of the year. So like, I truthfully don't even remember putting it out. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't remember anything because there's been so much like fucking trauma. So I don't know. Is there anything fun to talk about with it? It's been so much bullshit.
Well, I mean, the thing with that is that, Chris is a very hands-on person. He likes to be heavily involved with whatever his films are, which are fine with us. So it was fairly easy. It was just kind of getting all that together with Chris just saying, hey, we want this, this has to be, the master has to be this, blah, blah, blah. Pretty boring, like just tech stuff. And he just delivered it, Chris knows what goes on like a Blu-ray, what should be there, with his old stuff that he did himself for his like DVDs to like what we do for ours to have something new. So he understands all of that. The booklet just kind of came because that was something he had, the Mortal Dagger soundtrack.
Yeah, I mean, he basically delivered us a finished release, more or less.
And that's the reason why it took long, is that Chris does his own thing and he wanted it, around Halloween.
Did he also write? Was it him? Did he write the like is it Tingler's books or Goose? They're like a Goosebumps.
No, he worked on that with somebody.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, because my brain is bad pudding, gross pudding. I can't remember her name, but I'm sure he did all the Trader Tony stuff, but I don't think he did the nail biters.
Nail biters, that's what it is. Tinglers. It's a good name for a book. Maybe you should start that series, John.
Oh, I got it wrong.
No,
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
saying you call your books the Tinglers.
All right.
Well, following that up, take a trip to Beyond Fest, where you premiered 2 different restorations, got to talk to a bunch of people in person, and on the same day, release your password-locked website to the world and frustrated every physical media collector ever because they can't spell. Tell us about working with Bob Odenkirk and Rumpelstiltskin.
Oh, I like that sentence.
We did the Fantastic thing, Fantastic Fest first with Big Top Pee Wee, which was cool.
Got it, yeah.
I watched it. I haven't seen the movie in a while. So watching like the whole like new restoration and seeing that master and seeing it in the theater really kind of made me think different about the movie. I really enjoyed it a lot more watching with a crowd. Yeah, and then we went to Beyond Fest. We did the screening with Melvin Goes to Dinner and working with Bob. Bob's just a really nice dude. It's kind of crazy. I always forget how popular he is because I'm like, Tom Goes to the Mayor, Mr. Show person. And I've never seen like Breaking Bad or that Better Call Saul. So I just forget like how the world knows him. And I forget it every time. So seeing like people come up and do autographs and be like sneaking around the back trying to talk to them, people taking videos like live calls like Zooms, and they're like, hey, I'm here with Bob Odenkirk, and like it was kind of weird, but I mean that's what people do. They like to fan out. But we watched it with the crowd, the whole like cast. I mean, not the whole cast, but a good portion of the cast. The 4 main leads were there. They had the DP, a producer, of course Bob and his wife, the writer Michael, who's one of the stars, and the composer too. And it was like 9 of them, and we all watched the movie together, and it was beautiful. It was a really fun night. I think they really loved it. Fun watching it with a crowd because I've never seen it with anybody before. I've only just watched it by myself. And it's just been that's been a little surreal. Like I'm on an email thread with Bob back and forth, and it's just kind of weird, like talking to Bob Odenkirk every once in a while.
As he films a sequel to Nobody right now.
They're done. He flew in to do that show with us, and then he flew out to make another movie like 2 days later.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, he looked tired. I think he fell asleep in the theater too. But that's what happens when you're, older and
in demand,
busting skulls. So.
And then secret screening, nobody knew that Rumpelstiltskin was going to premiere, and then that played, from what I hear, to gangbusters for everybody.
Yeah, that was a fun night. I was a little tired around that time. I know Ryan was too. You were getting sick, right?
That was the first time I've been sick in eons, and I got really ill.
Yeah, it was a short trip to LA. I was only there for like 3 days. We did the 2 screen. I left after the following morning after Rumpelstiltskin. But Rumpelstiltskin was something that we were working on for a long ass time. And we had a lot of cool extras for that. I think it was one of the last films to be programmed at Beyond Fest because we just weren't sure as far as like the restoration and everything being complete. But yeah, it you know, I talked to Evram, and he was like, "We're doing Melvin Goes to Dinner," which was already programmed. And he was like, "What else do you have? I have a slot just for you." And I was like, "Rumpelstiltskin?" And he's like, "Yes." I was like, "Oh shit! Now we have to fucking get it ready and announce it." I don't know whose idea was to lock the website. Whose idea was that?
Obviously,
Yours?
mine.
Yeah.
Anything that's even slightly annoying is going to be me.
So Ryan tells me this. I remember, I think it was like woke up and I'm like getting ready at my buddy's house when I was in LA, and Ryan tells me like about how they would have to say the name, and, like I was like, so lock the web. I was like, that's really really funny. I really like that idea, but like, holy shit, you're gonna make a lot of people probably angry.
Oh yeah.
But it was funny to see it happen because it did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Like nothing backfired on that. It was exactly what it was.
Even
it was to make people angry and talk about it.
I guarantee that all the files for Rumpelstiltskin on my computer are half spelled one way and half spelled the other way, and I kept being like, "Where is this thing? I can't find it. It's not spelled like crumple." Took a long time to learn that.
No, I have emails where I flip the L and the E all the time. But yeah, that was the funny, because that's the whole part. That's the whole like gimmick in the movie. So like in the story, the fairy tale itself. So yeah, it was just, it did exactly what it was supposed to do.
I mean, the whole point of the second half of the year is, as what Brad was kind of alluding to, is to take TerraVision back to like honestly how we started doing shit. In a few months we'll be 10 years old, which we've got, big plans for the 10th anniversary. But, when I started the company, it was all about I just wanted to make me happy. It was very selfishly run. And oddly enough, I'm trying to get back there because like Brad was saying, I just want to have fun with it. Like, these are things that I loved as a child, and to just kind of churn them out, like, thinking about money and how many people can blah, 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 like all the shit that you have to do kind of if you want to be a successful company. I just don't I don't care about that anymore. I just want to have fun with it and put out movies that we love and do it in unique, creative ways. I mean, even like our announcement today, if you watch the video that we posted that La Martina made, it's bizarre. I mean, it's amazing, but it's a bizarre way to launch a title. But it was fun for me, and obviously fun for Chris to make. And I don't know, it doesn't always have to be about giving away prizes, test pressings, and like call-in numbers. But just being creative and not just being like, on Black Friday we're putting out so and so, buy it, which is how most companies are. And no shame on them. They probably make a lot more money than I will ever make in my entire life. But that's not. I own museums and I have other things happening. So like TerraVision has to be fun, or else I have no interest in doing it. And that's kind of the point that we got to, where it's like, all right, we have to release another 5 things. Let's just get them out. We've got 500 things. I mean, we have so much locked down is the problem. Like we have so many licenses, so many films, so many records, so many cassettes coming out. That was a valid way to release things, was to try to just churn them out. But what you lose for me is the creativity behind all of it, honestly, and the fun and the passion. So, from here on out, as far as I'm concerned, this is basically the way we're going to function. We'll put out shit whenever we feel like it, and we'll have fun doing it. And if that's not the case, we won't be releasing it.
So speaking of making money from this, Rumpelstiltskin came out, was announced as 4K and Blu-ray in this deluxe packaging, just like the last 2 that we talked about. But the big thing here is there was a package of about the smaller package was around $40. Larger package was around 80. Obviously a little biased because I work with you guys, but I don't think there's ever been a boutique that I've never seen people complain about the prices, other than like when that Rumpelstiltskin bundle got announced, because there's so much shit for $80 and $40 that there's no way that people can be like, we're getting ripped off. There is so much in that package. Do you guys remember offhand how much was in that $80 package and can rattle it off?
It literally came with a bib for a baby.
did.
Oh yeah, the bib. The bib. The bib was such a fun idea, but that's what I mean. Like, and I did see some complaints, to be fair, about that bib. I saw some guy say, I will never fucking support this company because they think I need to buy a bib. And I was like, what does that mean? You don't have to buy the bib. You don't even have to buy the bundle. Like, just don't buy the bundle. Why are you now against the company? Because we're offering a bib. It's just, but
was he like, I'm sorry, man, I didn't mean it, but Rumpelstiltskin stole my baby, and
I wish.
I just
but yeah, there was a lot of shit in there. I mean, we're making it right now, actually. All that stuff is Chloe can probably rattle it off. Do you remember all the Rumpelstiltskin bundles? There's the awesome ride or die fucking
there's a bumper sticker. The sunglasses, the bumper sticker. I'm really still stuck on the bib. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of shit. And people are right. You don't need that stuff.
No,
but you're not really paying much for it. And if you like dumb 80s nostalgia, well, 90s in this case, like I do, then spring for it. Otherwise, it's fine to not buy it.
Or, if it's one of your favorite movies of all time, like this has been a title that people have literally been begging every boutique label for years and years.
Well, that's the weirdest part about Rumpelstiltskin. When I don't know that we've really talked. Fuck with me. That's right. I don't think we talked much about our Paramount relationship, and I don't know that I should in great detail, but more or less the dude that's in charge over there is or was a fan of my Greyface Records life. So it kind of, he's been very kind in allowing us to sort of pick through the catalog, despite being poorer than most companies that he licenses to. But when I got that first catalog, probably 2 years ago, Brad and I were looking, and the fact that Rumpelstiltskin was available is like, why? I mean, there's so many people in the Paramount catalog. Who the fuck wouldn't have picked that up? It makes, and sidebar, a lot of the shit that we haven't announced that we're putting out from Paramount, same. Like, there's great titles that are being skipped over to basically just, regurgitate the same titles again and again. Again, do a UHD of something that's been on Blu-ray a million times. Not that that's bad. We're probably going to do it at some point anyways, because you kind of have to a degree. But why skip over something like Rumpelstiltskin? I don't know. So I feel very lucky to have gotten that title, to be honest.
Yeah. Speaking of the Paramount relationship, one big thing that I don't see a lot of people like ringing the bell about is that we put out a VHS of Rumpelstiltskin with the Paramount Scares branding,
which is awesome.
And to be that ingrained with them is pretty fucking rad.
Yeah. Beyond that, we've got like maybe, I don't know, 25 VHS coming from Paramount. I mean, I don't know that anyone else is licensing Paramount VHS, especially with, like, Earl went through his, again, Earl Kess, who does our graphic design. He went through his vast VHS collection, which he owns something called either the Museum of VHS or the VHS Museum. I can't remember which. But Paramount used to have a very specific, like, opening case where you drop the tape in. And he had such a good idea. Let's bring that back, even though they have the trademark on it. So of course we got in touch with Paramount and we're like, hey, we want to do this. Is that okay? They of course could care less because it's just more expensive for us and it doesn't change anything on their end. But yeah, it's just neat. It's neat. It's fucking cool that we're like, reviving their early 80s, because they stopped doing that. Earl knows all of this, but saying like 85 or 84 or something. So like it was really an earlier Paramount VHS thing. Someone correct me on that. I don't think I just said that correctly. Whatever year they stopped doing it was sort of midway through the VHS boom, because I'm sure they were just spending more money than they needed to. So it's just badass to A, be in bed with them. B, I mean, some of the titles we have coming out on VHS are like literal all-time favorites, like one that we announced today, which was fucking awesome. Ryan, can
On
we
that
talk
note,
about it?
should I go to that title here? I'll
I
do
don't know.
this.
It's just exciting.
Let's run through everything real quick. So today, standard edition of WNUF 2 went up. Return of the Living Dead 2 glassware. This amazing screen print of Return of the Living Dead 2. More stock of the deluxe edition LP. More of the deluxe Frogman and WNUF 2. Jess Franco's Bloody Moon vinyl. And we're going to come back through all this more. But this is the second book, right?
Well, technically the third, but we forgot to put the logo on. We did the Heaven's Gate book,
Right.
Which long story, it doesn't matter.
Poems of Great Importance by Ridley Mortis. We got the the jar figures, some mystery boxes, and then Monster Squad VHS, Dante's Inferno VHS, WNUF Halloween Special VHS, TerraVision T, Silent Night, Deadly Night vinyl, and then our brand new video announcements. Grow Up Tony Phillips coming to the Gray Face line, a double feature of Yellow Dragons Village and Visitors, and Devils, that is another slipcover title, and then our deluxe edition this month, Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter on 4K and Blu-ray.
Confirm that Silent Night, Deadly Night is CD and cassette, not vinyl.
Yes,
that's what I meant. I was reading quick. I'm sorry.
You're good.
It's a CD.
And
I get it.
No, I'm just saying because people complain we don't
form.
do CDs. So
Yes.
put your money where your mouth is with the CDs.
I also want to point out that the WNUF 2 deluxes that went up are kind of like a weird hodgepodgey. They're not the 2-disc WNUF 2 hard boxes. We had extra hard boxes with the Perfect Bound book and the poster. So we're merely taking the standard edition slip and putting it inside, just so you don't think you're getting the thing that is sold out. You're getting a weird hodgepodge of what's in print and then some leftover boxes that are in fine shape. They're just not shrink wrapped, basically.
Anything that we want to share on the screen print, the glassware standard WNUF 2?
Did you do that artwork, Chloe?
For the poster, yes.
It's cool.
Thanks.
Never really looked at it, to be honest.
It was fun.
There's also different color variants, right?
Well, and sizes and shit, because our screen printer is a wild man.
He's
Wild
a
man in Borneo. Isn't that an old Sideshow thing?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good art. Yeah, Chloe's heavily featured here because she did that, and then she did the new T-shirt, the GPK shirt.
Yeah.
And the grow up Tony
Debuted
Phillips
as a
art, too.
sticker.
Yeah, that.
The shirt's cute.
I love that shirt.
Thanks.
Hey, send me your mailing address. I'll get you one, Mr. Chud.
Thank you.
And then yeah, she did the artwork for Tony Phillips as well in the drop.
Yeah, you did such a good job on the Emily was so happy with what you
Aw, hell yeah. That's
Quick
good to hear.
twice. Quick twice to reveal the pumpkins.
did. Pumpkins.
Hey. I have the original art with me, actually.
Oh,
If you want to see it, it looks pretty similar to.
can you make Chloe big?
Yes, I can.
There it is.
Nice.
Yeah, because it kind of got, naturally cropped with the format. But yeah, there it is.
What is that
I
on?
forgot to bring the back cover, which I always like the back covers a lot more sometimes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We're done. Goodbye. I'm kidding.
Jesus. But yeah, Grow Up Tony Phillips was one that turned around really quickly too. I think we signed it back in March of this year. I was at South by, and Peter Hall, the producer, it was a good friend of mine who does programming at South by and the Midnights. He was just like, "Hey," because he knew I liked the film, and it was actually a film I almost worked on back in the day. Long story on that, but I didn't. I was going to be a script supervisor on it. And I was like, hell yeah, I love Emily. I love her style. I know that she has gone on to do things because I mean, she started when she was just a little kid making movies, and now she's obviously trying to break away from that because she's now a woman. But people still view her as a little kid making movies. But she made this one and she was like 18, 19 years old. But yeah, it's a really cute coming of age, just Halloween movie.
It's charming.
Yeah, super charming, super cute. Yeah, and Emily did pretty much everything on there, from putting all the stuff for the contents of the booklet, organizing the commentary. There's some archival stuff on there. It's a very good community film because the whole, like, not whole city, but a good chunk of the city in Austin came together and made this movie happen. So yeah, I love it. And I was really pleased to see kind of like it kind of take off. People were really into it. They know what the movie is, thanks to like stuff like her very first film, I think, was Pathogen, which was a zombie movie, which they made a documentary called Zombie Girl about her putting that movie out. So yeah, and then she worked on fucking a Netflix movie, and then has a new movie called Sorry About the Demon. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun. Thanks to Peter and Paul Gandersman, or Peter Hall, Paul Gandersman, who producers on it. Emily, it was a very fun project. We wanted to get this out sooner, but we just had obstacles in our way that we just couldn't avoid. But yeah, happy that it's out now, and I hope people dig it. So.
Speaking of it being out now, these are not shipping until January. All of the new video announcements that came out today,
Thank you, Ryan.
shipping in January.
I love that. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Brett.
Out now in
I
January.
know what this is. But yeah, that was our third Greyface title, and I'm super excited to see kind of how people react to Greyface, because we've had River, and then Dawning, and then Grow Up Tony Phillips. So the very three different types of movie. I guess Grow Up Tony Phillips and River are, they're both kind of cute movies, but we do have a wide variety of shit coming to Greyface, and I'm very, very excited about the future of that label.
Me too.
I do want to say, not to be sad, but my graphic designer Ryan McCardle passed away during him working on that Blu-ray title. So that is the last thing he touched, and my old graphic designer from when I first started Greyface actually finished it off, even though he does other things for a living now, but he stepped in and helped me out on that. And then Earl, the television designer, actually made the 3D image and will do the booklet for the inside. So he was a very special dude, and he will be missed. He was a close friend. So I just want to say his name, as he was a great dude.
Yep. That is one that loomed large, and that was just a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go Yellow Dragons Village and Visitors double feature next.
The package that has been done for a while.
11 months.
Yeah. We wrapped on this a long time ago. It was just trying to figure out when to release it. John, when did you cut the trailer for this?
I was gonna say, Ryan Verrill, I'll take the nice things you said to me. Now I'll just say thank you. That was very
You're
nice
welcome
thing to say. And this trailer I did like a year ago, I think, and I think it was the first. I was nervous too, because I think it was the first like foreign film that I ever cut, and didn't know if I'd be any good at that. Luckily, in the movie, a lot of the dialogue is just people kind of like puking and and that kind of thing. So that made it a little easier. But
it's your best trailer so far.
oh wow.
Yeah. I personally, I think this is your best trailer. I've watched it probably like 30 times.
To be fair, Brad has actually been saying that for the better part of a year, so he's not just saying that.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
But yeah, we finished this. It was just that, again, the contemporary stuff just wasn't taking off like we wanted it to. So we just kind of pulled back on that, and we didn't really know when to do this. It just kind of came up. And it's not because the movies are bad. The movies are great. It was just, I don't know. We just had so many other things that we wanted to do and focus on, Frogman, focus on WNUF, take a break for a little bit too. But yeah, this is a little bit tougher to do as a double feature because of the ownership. But I didn't want to we signed both movies, but they're both barely short, like just a hair over 60 minutes. And I thought that would have been weird to put one on a Blu-ray and the other one on another Blu-ray and charge $20 for them. But yeah, Yellow Dragon's Village, I feel that it's the movie by Sakamoto that people don't talk about because he's so popular for Baby Assassins. But he did this movie like right after Baby Assassins, the first one. And it is just, I saw this at Fantastic Fest a few years ago, and I didn't get it like for the first like 20 minutes until there's a shift in the movie, and then it becomes just an all-out action fucking blowout. And it's a great martial arts movie. It really, it's so good. And I think calling it a martial arts movie is kind of spoilery in a way, but it is a hard-hitting fucking like action movie. And it's quick. It goes because it's only like 66 minutes. And we have a really, really long interview with did you edit the interview on this one, John?
I did.
How long is that interview? It's pretty long, right?
I think I made it a lot shorter, but there was a lot. It was long.
Yeah,
I don't remember how long it was.
I want to say they delivered like an hour of footage or something. But yeah, we have an interview with the director, and I think it's the producer or fight choreographer on it. But just a lot of fun. Visitors is a compilation of kind of shorts the director was doing. So I should have probably put Visitors Complete because that's what it's known as, Visitors Complete. And it's another 60 minutes. I just say it's Japanese trauma. It's just a lot of green puke, more puking, more puke and puke. And it's funny, and it's just a very gory, Evil Dead-ish Machine Girl type romp. If you're into Sushi Typhoon and Evil Dead, then this is for you. So,
all right. That takes us to Devils, which is not the Warner Brothers Devils. This is a very different movie from
person to say that. I was waiting for someone to say it. You're the first.
Glad I could be that one.
You are that one.
Tell us about Devils.
Devils is another one that was done for a little while. I saw this at a festival too, and I just love I love Korean action movies because they just never, there's like no bad Korean action movie. And this one is incredibly like beautiful. It's got great cinematography. The colors that they use in the movie are wonderful. It's produced by the dude that did like Chaser, I Saw the Devil, all those like really gritty like Korean action movies. And this is a Korean face-off, and they're not trying to hide it. It's literally just face-off, but in Koreatown. And it's fucking fun. And the dude that plays well, I mean the two that kind of Travolta and Cage characters, they're just really good, and it's demented, it's weird. It doesn't take itself too seriously. The big thing on this is we had interviews with the two leads and the director, which was kind of insane because Ja Dong is like, he is a huge fucking Korean star. He's best known probably for his kind of breakout role in Project Wolf Hunting. He plays the really nasty gangster before it turns into Resident Evil on a ship. And then, yeah, film critics, Matt Donato, Rob Hunter did one, which is really good. Kind of just goes into this type of, because there's a weird, not a weird thing, but there's this really cool, there's like with Thai action and Indonesian action and Korean action, there's just these directors are getting huge jobs now, like outside of their countries. Timo just did Nobody 2. Joko's doing something that I don't think is known yet, that I can't say. And just a lot of these directors are getting jobs in the US, and they're finally being noticed because they're good at shooting action. It's especially Korean action. It is some of us are very reminiscent to old style, like Hong Kong, where it feels like you're actually in the fight. Devils is kind of like that, I think. So dope that fucking movie. I hope people give it a chance.
That brings us to the big deluxe title for this month. This is the smaller bundle for Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter 4K and Blu-ray. This is one that you've been working on quite some time too there, Brad.
Yeah, it was we had this for a little while too. Signed it early last year, I think.
Yeah.
Again, Craig just had a bunch of stuff which made the booklet easy. We did an interview with one of the actors in the booklet. I think Craig wrote a foreword, and there was just a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, it was a movie that I just always really liked, and I didn't know how much I liked it until I saw what the restoration did for the movie, because it's such a really unique looking movie. It's very beautiful and weird looking. And yeah, I find it really funny. It's a good Canadian comedy.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it has a ton of gore. Really slimy and soupy.
It's a VHS classic.
Yeah. And I mean, to make this is one of those examples where it was kind of a no-brainer, just because we were doing UHD and Blu-ray. And I just thought it was funny to do UHD with Revenge of the Radioactive Reporter, because it's made that jump from VHS to UHD. I mean, I don't really have much other to say than I'm just very honored that Craig let us do this, because he's very into his own movies, and he did a really good job at preserving everything. He just didn't let anything go to waste. He didn't let anything get destroyed. He kept everything, and that's why it looks so good. I mean, the negative was in incredible shape. The restoration is amazing. I hope people love it. It's a good little have your friends over bagel bite movie is what I've always called them. Good bagel bite movie.
Well, and just like our last few deluxe editions, we got this extra large bundle that you can get. Lots of neat items here, including the shirt. This is a great package for this film.
It's fun. That's an Earl heavy. All that fun stuff was Earl having fun with it and pitching me on ideas, which is cool, because sometimes it doesn't work like that. Sometimes I'm like, no, you make a fucking bib. We're making a fucking bib. But not with this. Not with this.
I know Earl's always, he's like, I know when Earl's doing stuff like this, because I'll get an email and it will just say, what is the name of the nuclear plant? And I'm like, I think it's Barley. I was like, now I'm nervous. I gotta look it up. and then it was like that he would. I think it was like, what is the name of the agency he works for, or the TV station or the reporting station, radio station. So yeah, and then you send this to me one day because I didn't see any of this. I just knew the movie was done and working on the extras with everything. And I get sent this like a week ago. And I was like, holy shit, this is fucking great.
Oops.
Oh,
Are you
Chloe
okay,
went down.
Chloe?
Chloe
Sorry,
passed
I'm
out.
fidgeting. Happens when I sit still for too long. I kick things.
It's okay.
Should we go over some of the vinyl that's happening right now?
What's
It's
happening?
up to Ryan.
What's happening right now?
Sales.
Oh. We can go through anything. You're the moderator, man.
Yeah.
So I had 2 tabs open, and I thought I was scrolling for everybody. It was just for me. Okay, let's look at this. Mystery boxes, Bloody Moon.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on these mystery boxes because basically this move that we've been going through and kind of in a weird way are still going through. Even though we're not moving stuff, we're still moving stuff.
Still.
Yeah. Like we're just finding a bunch of shit. Basically, I don't mean shit as in bad stuff. We're finding a lot of stuff that I didn't realize we had, which sidebar, you'll notice a couple additions to the website of certain things we've been out of. That's just literally finding stuff. Like I even in one of the deep storage spaces, I found a box of Frogman Deluxe, which is why there's more on the site today, in a space where they definitely shouldn't have been. Like it makes no sense how they would have ended up in deep storage. But point being, when you go from like one warehouse to literally eight storage facilities, and everything gets divided, it's chaos. So the mystery boxes, both for the Blu-ray and the vinyl, are kind of from that. It's more like, man, I'm finding all this cool stuff that it's not enough quantity to really put something on the website necessarily, but would make sense to combine that with a few other titles that are on the website to just introduce people. It's really for people that are just finding out about the label, although anyone can buy it, of course. But I've noticed, I'm not sure what's happened, but since I would say, well, really since Return of the Living Dead 2, so like July, August, the TerraVision Instagram has gone from like 15,000 followers to whatever we're at, 21,000 or something. Now that's not a lot for bigger businesses, but for us, that's a pretty huge jump in a few months. So, figured these would be a good way to sort of introduce you to films and soundtracks. And with the Blu-ray one specifically, if you click on that, there's actually fun options within that. So you can choose box A through E, and we explain not what movies will be in each box, but the sort of vibe for each box. And Brad actually wrote those descriptions up based on the titles that I was suggesting we include in each box. So it was a fun team exercise.
Yeah, boss.
Hey, you like writing stuff like that.
I do. Yeah, it's fun.
So yeah, and then Mystic Vault released that. If you scroll down, Mystic Vault released that about 3 weeks ago, and honestly, just with the move and my life being hell, I've just sat on them. So that's sort of our allotment of that title because they didn't make many of them, so that will probably sell out pretty quickly. What else is there? Oh, that poem.
Brad, what the fuck is this?
It's the jar.
It's the demon from the jar.
11
The
left.
jar guy.
He's cute.
I like the photo of him out of the jar, actually. Click on that one. There you go. He looks so cute.
Yeah, we've had those.
Those
Justin,
we've had-
our friend Justin Beam had those made probably 2 years. I don't know. Say 2 years ago.
It feels. It was like It was after we announced the jar.
Mhm.
No, it wasn't.
No?
No, it was before we announced the jar. It was meant to go along with them, but they didn't arrive until after we announced the jar. So
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
there was no reason to just randomly be like, "Oh, and here's
Hey.
these 25 jar figurines." But I rediscovered them in the move. I know that's redundant, but that's what my life is right now.
Yeah, I
and-
forgot we even did them for a little bit.
Yeah, and they're cute. They're
They're so cute.
limited and cute, and I've seen a bunch of questions of like what's going to be on the club or wholesale portal, and anything that's super limited quantity will not be, because there's not going to be any wholesale. Like the jar, I think I paid the artist $19 per unit or something, and I think we're charging what, like 25. So like I'm not going to discount them. Like we're barely making anything anyway. So if you want them, grab them on there, use the code combine, and we'll throw them in with your next club shipment. But most stuff is already on there, or will be. Bloody Moon will be on there if it's not already. I thought I saw someone else asking about something, but yeah, if it's not on there, and it should be on there, it will be on there. And if it's a limited quantity thing, it will not be on there. But more than likely, you're a clubber and getting it anyways, depending on what we're talking about here. So,
Do you wrap those in brown paper and fill the jar with a little bit of fluid when you ship them, or?
The hilarity is the email that I got from the artist. I checked it, funnily enough, this morning before we launched, and he says, "Do not fill it with anything," or something like that. I'm like, "Oh, I assumed you were supposed to put resin or I don't fucking know, something."
I thought they could put resin, but yeah, if he says no, then
he said it will damage the artwork to the jar figure. So,
okay.
I mean, this is from 2 years ago. So
yeah, it's limited. It was meant to be a cute thing, and I think the jar is a little funny on it, but yeah. Well, I just love the little demon. I think he's cute. You can take him out and you could put him places, you know?
I think Chloe's photos of the jar guy are very cute. So
We had a photo shoot, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's basically all the I think the only other thing I wanted to mention, I mean, we can open this up for Q&A obviously, but I had a couple people, for the first time in my entire life, I went on the Blu-ray forums today because there were some fucking dumbasses saying dumb shit. So I had to chime in, but not be mean, because I'm sure they all have a point of view that I maybe don't agree with, but they have a point of view. But kind of have to start defending the label a bit, because I don't know. Comments like TerraVision is a fucking mess. That does trigger me, not gonna lie. It's a weird statement to hear when like your best friend just died and your roof ripped off and shit. Like fucking bullshit. So
it was also hilarious to see people questioning if Rumpelstiltskin was going to get out in time. And it's like, you haven't even given the chance for the release date to get here. What are we getting at? Well, it's always said December.
But also, like, Elena, who works for me, she does mail order, and Brandon, they're the two mail order people, and they do a great job. She kindly wrote about 100 people and said, "Hey, we think some people may have gotten duplicates of WNF2 Deluxe Edition. We think." And turns out we were right, and I think we have like 25 coming back. But regardless, some fucking nutsack on that forum was like, I don't feel very good about the fact that they're gonna reship this title to some poor sap. It's like, we're not sending out used underwear. It's not even an unshrink wrapped thing. Like, you received 2. You didn't open the second one. We'll pay for you to ship it back to us, and then we'll ship it to whom it was supposed to go to, you fucking moron. Sorry, Brad.
Customer service is awesome.
You can say whatever you want.
It's just that sort of shit.
I wiped my hands clean months ago.
So it's just people literally trying to start shit. I don't know if it's that their lives are fucking pathetic or what, but it pisses me off. So I am now officially a Blu-ray forum guy,
Oh
which
no.
was not the turn
Yes,
of
sir.
events that I was expecting.
You're doing
What?
something that's you're gonna hate.
I was waiting for the end of that sentence for a long time.
Now, I will say, most people that I've met on there so far today have been lovely. So
Oh yeah,
obviously,
there's some wonderful people.
I'm letting the like 3 nutsacks overshadow, but that's life. You tend to focus on the negative because the negative people say such dumb shit, and I own the fucking company, and I think I know that the company is not a mess. That maybe we got evicted unfairly from our place, and I've had to deal with that. But is it a mess? No. We're actively shipping out all titles. Rumpelstiltskin, it says on the website, ships in December. It's
But
November 27th.
Don't
And-
worry, Ryan. On December 1st, they'll send the emails.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, that's neither here nor there, honestly. Like, but that is funny, Ryan, that you mentioned. It's not even December, and you're already mad. And that's
the truth of that forum is that they quickly, I don't really want to say brigade, but like people are very quick to pile on when they don't even have experience with something. It's so odd. Like
yeah,
you
right.
wait for them to explain, well, how did this affect you? Well, it hasn't yet. I'm worried. It's like, well, what's going on then?
I think it was the guy that you're talking about that mentioned the Rumple not being in time. Or maybe it's multiple people. I don't fucking know. But someone said, "Oh, why are we talking about this? Let's not go. What are we doing? What are we doing? Fuck this. They're
Good
fine
choice.
people.
Good
They're
choice.
fine people.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them, and I'm cool with it."
People.
They are. I mean, like they've largely been lovely. It's just Rumpelstiltskin is just to give an update, an actual update.
Santa Claus on the big screen. I didn't even know we're doing that. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, that's next week. Yeah, we are doing that. And shit, I gotta talk to Bailey about that.
Oh, is that in Chicago?
Yeah, well, normal. You don't know where normal is, do you?
Nope.
Okay.
Living with you, I doubt it, man.
Wacky bread. What was I saying?
You're just attacking everybody tonight.
No, I'm trying to give an update for Rumple so that we actually can. I talked to the packaging people yesterday, and they said, or was that just today? They said that it looks like it's on track to ship 12/12 to 12/14, and they ship. I think it's overnight, actually. So that will go to Charles on the West Coast, who's making the discs, and he'll assemble and shrink wrap them and send them to us. Will it ship by Christmas? Probably not, but it will ship in December.
We got a question from Tom. If I'm looking to re-up my subscription, which everybody should, to TerraVision, what's the difference between the Greyface video subscription and the TerraVision Video Club subscription?
I mean, it's 2 different labels technically, but we're not assholes. So if you joined either and truly wanted everything, you would just talk to Elaine and be like, "Hey, I want," like, in other words, if you're a TerraVision member and you want Tony Phillips, then you would say, "Hey, I want this." We also have it in the wholesale portal where you just click a button and say, "Add this to my sub." So you don't, if you really don't want to communicate with a human being, you don't have to. But yeah, TerraVision obviously puts out more. Greyface puts out less. Some people like to keep them separate.
Yeah, they cross over though. You can cross over if you want.
Yeah,
or you can do both subscriptions, which some people do.
Correct.
So you don't have to worry about asking for each one.
Right. But technically speaking, it's 2 different companies. Yes, I own both, but it is 2 different companies. And obviously the aesthetics are slightly different and the titles will be different. We have a lot of stuff planned for Greyface, and actually, we have a lot of stuff kind of ready for Greyface.
There's
or like, very nearly ready. So I would say we've got probably, I don't know, from the looks of our spreadsheet, 5, 6, 7 titles, like close-ish.
Yeah. There's some stuff that's even authored that we just haven't announced because we're just like everything is it's all strategical at this point of like how can we do it, how can we make it fun, when is the right time, even if it's done, if it doesn't feel as the right time, we're just not going to do it because we want it to be fun, we want to be able to focus on it with whatever we're going to do with it, a fun idea. We're just not going to release films just to release them because that's what we're trying to get away from.
And I will say, not just having to do with Radioactive Reporter, but anytime we announce a deluxe edition, it will have a standard edition.
Yeah, absolutely.
100% of the time. You never have to worry about it. The way we'll probably start doing that, I would guess, would be like when we're about to sell out, or maybe the moment that the deluxe sells out, we'll probably announce it.
We'll be quicker about it in the future. It's just a lot of things were going on, so we didn't have those standard editions ready on previous titles. But we'll be better about it in the future.
And then culture shock wise, we actually have a title that we're announcing together.
Be in December, maybe.
Yeah. So that will kind of,
it's going through its authoring process, so it is like a done thing.
It's close. I mean,
we wanted to announce it today, but we don't have a QC report back yet.
It's we've made, Brad and I made a promise to ourselves that we would no longer, I think it was Malum, was that the debacle where we announced that title and we had not gotten the QC report prior to announcing, and there were a bunch of fucking issues. It was one of those titles.
It happened a couple times, and that's what made those May titles or whatever so delayed.
Yeah, and then so we'll have a culture shock title hopefully next month. It should be barring any QC issues, but there are actually several sort of finally nearing completion. So culture shock is definitely back. Daniel, the sweetheart that runs the company, has had just like me, a fuck ton of awful shit happen over the past 12 months. So it's not like he's not releasing movies for any reason other than he's just going through a lot of shit. And
you got to remember, it's one person at that company. So it's very rough. It's too hard to do this stuff on yourself. It's almost impossible.
Any Black Cobra news that you want to share, Brad? Should we share any news with that?
Or more broadly, all of the titles that were announced in August of 2023.
Please don't make me laugh. Black Cobra, we've scanned it. It's the negative we have. It's really rough, so it's going to take a lot of time to get done, but it will happen. It's just when I think Ryan said this at one point, I forget did you do this on Facebook, or I don't remember, but when we did those announcements, we were trying to like stir up talk about us and what we're doing and try to get people excited. Obviously
that worked.
Huh?
That worked.
Yeah,
stirred something up.
And not the way we wanted it to. So yeah, Black Cobra was something like, I think we announced that when we had it signed and we just found the material. We didn't even have it in hand, I don't think. I don't remember.
Just to elaborate on what you're trying to say, Brad and I last August, 2 Augusts ago, well, I think it was late July, decided if we're going to offer like 50 title subscriptions for $1,000 and this sort of thing, we have to be more transparent with what titles are they even trying to get and license, or what have they recently licensed, and that sort of thing. So that whole big announcement stemmed from us trying to over communicate, like, this is the vibe of the label. If you like this vibe, give us your money if you want. You don't have to, but if you want. And the problem is we did a bad job of delivering that message. We just were excited talking about all these titles. So it's really our fault for harping more on the titles and less so with the intention that like some of those things we were like signing right before that announcement. Like literally, we were trying to sign it so we could talk about it. Meaning, from when you sign a title to when you release a title could be years, like literally years. So, you know, all the titles that you people keep asking for, I mean, it might be another year. Like, we'll let you know when we're there. But
Yeah,
that's
and
why
we're in no rush. We want it to be perfect, and that's the one thing we never do is we rush through stuff.
yeah, like I mean, the biggest regret is Rocktober Blood because that's the one that every time I'm at a convention, like, where the fuck is it? You mentioned it so long ago, and it's like we had licensed it like a day before that whole thing. Like, you know, we were optimistic and thinking we could speed through this process, but so that's naivete on our end. But really, it was a mistake that we will never do again, which is why you don't hear us announcing anything like other than what we've already just went through.
Yeah, we'll talk about what we've already announced, but
we will never, ever, 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 ever announce anything. Seriously, ever. Not that you shouldn't ask where Rocktober Blood is. I'm stoked that you guys are excited about it. It's not. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I think that we did a bad job of. We should have prefaced it by saying we got this awesome movie. It ain't coming out anytime soon. That's what we should have done, and we failed to deliver that, and that's what I regret.
no regrets.
How about this one? How did the Kung Fu movies do for TerraVision? Are you going to keep at them, or are they too much of a pain in the ass?
They don't do well.
They don't do very well. I don't know. It's one of those things that I would love to keep doing, but if it's something that doesn't sell well, it's kind of hard to keep doing it. And we do have access to some really cool Kung Fu films, but if you do 2 or 3 or 4 and they all tank, it's kind of hard to keep doing 5, 6, 7, and 8, you know? I just hope people, I mean, our Kung Fu films are equivalent to the types of horror films and movies we put out. You know, they're weird, they're obscure, they're not these big titles. I mean, we do have a couple like bigger Kung Fu titles under our belt. But I don't know. I wish they did better. Because a lot of work and money goes into them. They're not cheap. So,
and any updates on TV OP? Jesus fuck, Ryan.
TV OP3.
TV OP3.
Yeah, Brad doesn't even know what that shit is.
Secret.
Do you know?
Wait, do you?
Do you know what that is?
No, I have no idea what that is.
So when I started the label, there was a sort of sub series, original production series, which was basically a catch-all for anything that was not just a traditional film score. So that's where the Miss Pussycat puppet show score went. That was one, and then the really interesting WNUF record that we did, which is basically like a audio only sequel to the first movie. So I did mention OP3 is coming in October, but believe it or not, for all the shit I just talked about Record Store Day at the beginning of this, I pitched it to them randomly after a month after their deadline, and they accepted OP3 to their April 2025 release slate. So that's actually a Record Store Day title, and it's really weird. It's a very weird, one of the most exciting things I've ever done. I cannot wait to talk about it. We're doing a series of release parties surrounding it. It will all make a lot of sense. But it's a fucking Record Store Day title, and I'm really stoked that the two people that run Record Store Day were like open to it, because I pitched them on a lot of shit and they reject me all of the time. And they were like, "Oh yes, this is a great idea." I'm like, "Of all things, this is what you want," and they did. So that's coming in April of 2025. OP3, which as a vinyl subscriber, that will be one of those sort of like opt-in situations where you're not forced to receive it because it is very weird and not at all a traditional score, or it's kind of a score. It's weird. Yeah. I'll just stop.
Brad, you've been updating the Discord on Big Top Pee Wee News. You want to share any of those interviews that we've done?
Yeah, we've done quite a few interviews. We're still shooting interviews. I mean, it'll hopefully be next year. That's the goal for Big Top Pee Wee. But getting interviews for it has been, there's a lot of people that have passed away from the movie, like a ton. So we're going out of the kind of the production side and talking to people that knew Paul. Still people from the movie, of course, here and there. But we've done a few interviews and trying to do more with people that just knew Paul and talking about him. But yeah, it's going. It should be great at the end of it. It's just there's literally no time frame that we're even looking at right now because we're working on extras. So when that feels done, then we'll move into finishing it up.
Ryan, Alex wants to know what your favorite video store of all time was.
What?
Video store? Video rental store?
This is what your favorite store of all time.
Earlier in the chat, he was saying video store.
Oh.
Yeah, why are you so argumentative, Brad? Jesus. Definitely Sights and Sounds, probably. Lasky Road in Toledo, Ohio. That's where I got video violence when I was way too young and a bunch of shit that the buyer, stocked. I kind of note, when they went out of business, that guy, who's apparently very smart, created a company called Midwest Tape, and they took their video rental store and started sending it to libraries all around the country, and they were like the main purveyor of going to library and renting, checking out tapes from the library. They're still around today, and my brother, oddly enough, created a system for them called, the fuck was it called? Hulu's like a real thing, isn't it? Hulu's like that's not that, but it has a very Hoopla. That's what it's called. It's basically their own streaming platform that's owned by the guy from Midwest Tape who created Sights and Sounds, which was that's way too much information. Sights and Sounds.
We are caught up on questions. Anything that you guys want to tease for next couple months? Like, are we going to announce before the end of the year anything else, or in January?
October Blood. Just kidding.
Jesus, please stop.
It's already posted on the forum.
Can we talk about the Silent Night, Deadly Night cassette and CD? Or
oh yes, Sean acquired that. Sean, speak.
Yeah, that was the first one that we kind of went after, and it kind of happened really, really quick, and it's already available. So, first time that it's ever been available with the original artwork and an amazing alternate artwork on the cassette as well. I didn't know until today about the Christmas ornament and Christmas stockings, but we found some really cool stuff for this. It's the first time that it's ever been available in this track listing with everything. It's got all the Christmas carols mixed in the order that you see them in the film and everything. And then there's some extra stuff at the end as well. So This is a really cool thing. I got to see this movie at the Hollywood Theater in Portland, Oregon, completely sold out. And this thing plays like crazy in front of a packed crowd. And a lot of it has to do with the music that's in it. So, and then I just watched Terrifier 3 yesterday. And I mean, half the movie is just a homage to this film. So it's still kind of going, that people I think are starting to really see this as a classic, where like 10 years ago it was still kind of, lost in the shuffle. So
it should be noted, first ever cassette release.
Oh
Correct.
yeah. Yep.
Second CD release, but the first CD release with this track listing, and the first ever cassette release. So
Yeah, the original art, like, was when Ryan and I were talking about it. There's so many of these projects that everybody does now, and they instantly like, who are we going to hire for the art? And it's like, why do you want to fuck with perfection? It's one of the most iconic horror film posters that you can find, and that's exactly what's there. So, like, we're not going to mess with perfection and what it's already ingrained in everyone's head anyway. So why mess with it? So
note the blood on the CD. See at the bottom there. See all the blood that Earl added. It's pretty cool.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yep. I was excited about this today to see it because I didn't know until today that we were dropping it. So
Yeah, I forgot to tell you.
Surprise.
That's my thing. You'll get used to it.
I must have missed the email.
Oh no, there was no email. It was all up here, baby.
So there you go.
Yay. The Paramount movies, are they stuff that Paramount made or stuff they distributed?
Both.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, Paramount and all these huge companies just acquire other companies like mad. So
yeah,
Rumple is a perfect example of that.
Are you guys going to do foul play ever?
Like the Chevy Chase?
It's a joke. The Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase movie, man, with the killer albino in it.
I was thinking
foul. I think that just got announced recently. Someone's doing it.
It just finally came out on streaming for the first time, and I was watching it the other day. And I'm like, oh, it's Paramount. I wonder if Ryan's going to put this out as 4K.
No, I mean, I probably would actually, but no.
Kino doing a 4K, I believe.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Elements for city lights. Have we found any?
No,
nothing.
They're not at DreamWorks. It's just that they could have been, but they weren't. They were destroyed.
Damn.
Chloe's broken by that.
That sucks.
God.
I learned things here.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Ryan, anything else? Did you want to tease, or is there anything being announced in December or January, or anything people can look forward
to? Death.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh, you mean title-wise? No, there's nothing they can look forward to. Wait, that's not the right way. I don't know how to speak today.
Well, I mean, we have plenty of things in the works. We have a few things we've wrapped up on. We have a few things that we're wrapping up on now. We have a lot that we're working on, and like I said before, it's just whenever something feels right and all the pieces come together and we're comfortable and we feel like it could actually, stand on its own legs or whatever it may be. Right now, we do have a few things planned for December, but we had a few things planned for Black Friday that didn't pan out, and then they got moved to December. And if something goes wrong, they get moved to January.
True.
So
I guess I will say something. It's a vinyl sort of like conceptual thing. Yeah, let's not get into it. No, there's nothing.
You can take this time to catch up on some older titles that are available on the site, and they're on sale right now.
Yeah, there you go.
How long is the sale going on for?
I say a week, but what the fuck is that?
Oh, wow.
I mean, I don't know. Whenever Brad's like, dude, it's been up for 8 days. Do you want to take it down? And I'll be like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Right? That's kind of how we operate.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we just, we just kind of play everything by ear. We're not really into cementing like a style or... I think people are so used to the constant, like, Arrow doing their stuff, Vinegar Syndrome doing their stuff. We just don't want to be, because this is where Ryan and I clashed a little bit, because my mindset used to be like that. So when I came into television, that's kind of how I was pushing Ryan to do things. And I think I pushed him into a corner that he didn't want to be in.
You're right. It hurt.
And then it was like, dude, this isn't fun. And we should have had some fun with some title. We should have had a lot more fun with Nail Gun Massacre. We should have had a lot more fun with In the Woods.
I regret that era a lot, because slashers is for whatever reason, just really like one of my favorites. Like in my life, I love that fucking dumb movie. I think it's fucking brilliant. But it was so stressful to put that out. It
wasn't even fun. Yeah, there's so many things went wrong with that title just because there were so many moving parts, so many extras, different versions of the movie. It just wasn't fun. So that's when it was like after the last like live stream where Ryan basically came to me and said, I'm just not having fun anymore. And I was like, well, what do we do? And that's kind of where the Return of the Living Dead 2 idea was birthed, to have fun again. And that's what we're going to do. So we're not really, now I'm like Ryan, where it's just like, whatever works. We get excited. We were super thrilled to release this stuff, but it needs to feel right.
What's coming from fandom again, instead of like, again, a strictly monetary sort of concern, which does exist. Obviously, it's a company. But I just think when you get into that habit of like, it's the first of the month, we have to put out, 7,000 things and make $100,000 or else we can't pay our bills. That is not the life that I want to live. And that's not the company. I don't want to be a traditional boutique company. I just want to do what I've been doing for 10 years and have a blast and be a fucking nerd about it. And the people that get it, and the people that don't will complain on the forums.
There you go.
And that's what I liked about our conversation yesterday when we were texting back and forth and then talk, because with my old label, as soon as the thing would have arrived, it would have been up for sale because I need to recoup my money right now. And you're like, no, let's wait until the right time to do it, where it's going to be fun for us and for everybody, So it was refreshing to hear that, instead of just like, we need the money back right now. But
churn.
We're also playing with your money and not mine for a change. So it's a little different.
And I don't have any, so it actually works out pretty well.
But yeah, just expect. You'll know when we're gonna release something, just because we'll tell you that something's coming, whether it's on Discord or social media or whatever. When we announce it, we announce it, and we want it to be kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the whole thing, because we want to celebrate with you with this whole buildup of knowing what we're doing. The momentum kind of dies down when people know it's coming. And we want you to be excited because we're excited. It matches the level of excitement that we're putting it out, and we want the people to be excited. Or even if it's not, like, you don't know what it is, us celebrating it and coming out with it and, showing a trailer where that's how Radioactive Reporter, even though that's kind of a couple people found out that we were doing it because they were pirating the movie, and I shut them down on YouTube. And then they were like, oh, TerraVision, I got a cease and desist from them. So they must be put. I was like, oh, wow. So you're the one bootlegging the movie. I have no idea why people do that. But anyways.
Hey, man, you get paid. YouTube pays you for clicks.
Not when I get their fucking channel shut down. So just to let you know, if you are doing that, I don't give you a warning. I give you the strike. I never, ever do the warning. I always get the strike so I can try to shut down your channel. Just to let you know.
It's a warning.
Because it is an option. YouTube gives you the option to do the strike or a warning.
That's why I like you. You're a 0 to 60 sort of guy.
Yeah, and I have received so many fucking mean emails saying, why did you do this? Don't fucking pirate our movie. And
maybe don't pirate, yeah.
I mean,
it's super easy.
Yeah. I mean, in fucking places like Tubi, and they're littered with bootlegs,
Yeah, we had to actually go. It was not a whole big ordeal, but we had to go to Tubi because they had an illegal upload. That should have been our title that we should have been making money on. And we had to argue. And then the person that was fucking, the company that had it up there, they're like, oh, we just didn't know. I was like, you don't pay attention to your licensing, and They'll just leave it up there. But yeah, it was fucking stupid.
Yeah,
But
so
yeah,
Wild West. But I think that seems like a nice time to end.
On that note, I'll end it right now. Go to the website, buy any of the new titles that were announced today. Stuff is on sale for the next 8 days, or fuck it. And
That should be the banner.
I mean, that's just my attitude now.
it ends when it ends. Just grab the stuff you want. I mean, we're not gonna end it fucking Monday or something.
And we do have the combine code. So if you buy something today and Monday you're like, oh, you know what? I'll add the $14.99 Prom Night 2 record. That's fucking cheap. I paid $12 a copy to get them made, by the way. You can pay a couple bucks more to own that shit. All I'm saying is you can add that later, and then Elena will just group it all together, in a week or two and send it out. Unless it has pre-orders, in which case you're not getting it until January.
Well, you have the option to pay the shipping.
I know. I was just trying to be a dick.
You've done that enough tonight.
That's true. That's fair.
Mr.
All right. Well, go buy some Blu-rays. Have yourself a feces taco, and we'll see you next time as we do one of these live streams. Hopefully not in 6 months.
Good callback. Happy Thanksgiving.
Have a good night. Have a good
Bye.
holiday. Be safe. See you then.
Thanksgiving.
Happy.